Hello and welcome back to Elden Ring. It was a bit of a longer lunch break than I planned, but I guess I had to catch a bit of a break in between. But let's get back into this. And let's continue where we left off this morning, which is, well, technically in the Round Table Hold, but we actually managed to get back to Stormhill, and that's where we're gonna continue. Also, I finally leveled intelligence to 23, which means now I'm gonna focus on mind next. And interestingly enough, we found a ton of NPCs. Well, not really a ton, but certainly a couple, which was actually quite surprising. So, first of all, I think we found, what's his name? Kenneth Height. And, well, he is the leader of the fort that we cleared out on Thursday, I think, south of the Mistwood. For some reason, he was just standing around north of the Mistwood, and apparently needed help, even though he was completely alone. But whatever. Still, although now that I think about it, maybe they were trying to make it look like he was surrounded by beastmen that were under the part of the ruin that he was standing on. That would be kind of a stretch, though. But yeah, we met him. Then we actually met a hostile NPC, got another invasion. So that was interesting. An assassin, apparently. We met Alexander, which is a talking pot. Like one of these large pots that walk around, that we've already seen in Stormvale as well. We met Bernal, which is a knight in a shack that's just selling combat arts for some reason. And, or these combat ashes. And then, when I came back to the Round Table Hold, this guy was sitting here, which he just calls himself D. And apparently is associated with people who hunt those who live in death. Which I don't know why they have such a fancy name for it, because to me, currently, at least as much as I know, it just means really skeletons and stuff. But maybe there's more to it. I mean, I guess there is more. And he was talking about Gurang, which is, or who is, the beast clergyman. And they're looking for death roots, which is also something that we found earlier. And I suspect the reason why this guy, with his weird, whatever he's wearing, which is why he's sitting here now. Also, I didn't really have time to get a closer look on what he's doing. So, what exactly is the deal here? Does he does he have two heads, or is that part of his armor that he has a second head? What a weird thing. What a weird guy. This certainly does get weirder and weirder by the minute. Actually, while we're here, I am. Do we have something that we can upgrade? Not really, I feel like. Nope. Well, I could upgrade these, but I'm still missing the FP to use them. So that won't really be necessary. Maybe I should use the Baldachin's Blessing once more and try and whisper with fear, because we would able to do that at some point, but now we aren't? Well, I mean, I talked to him already. Let me just quickly take a look at... So I need almost 13,000 runes at this point. How much is this exactly? Like 6,000 or something? I feel like I should actually be able to level once more, which would be quite cool. Because I can also get rid of a couple of items in my inventory. It would probably be a good opportunity to do so, since it's been a while since I cleaned that out. Unless... Well, I can always grab more incantations or sorceries, for that matter. I still have stone sword keys as well. I'm not really missing on anything else currently. Do I want to grab the rings from them? Nah, not really. Let's actually try and get one more level, because I feel like, you know, I'm really... Well, I am level, what, 46, but honestly, that doesn't feel quite as high as I'd like. Because I definitely want to get... I want to get more vigor, and I want to get more mind. Those are two really important things to me right now. And afterwards, we're going to go full faith for a while, I think. Although I'm still missing the arcane stuff to be able to wield the dragon incantation, where, do I really want to go for that? Right now, maybe. But, yeah, 13, okay, 12,904 is what I need, 12,904, I should be able to get that. Let me go back to the smith. The smith. Hi.
I took you for no matter. It's out your arms.
Yeah, I know. Okay, let's see. How much is this? This is actually quite a lot. Holy shit. When did I get all of these? 12,900. I don't even need to use all of them, huh? Okay, let me take a look through the rest of the stuff. So I don't want to sell any of these, I guess, even though there's a couple that I think I don't necessarily need. But yeah, I don't really want to sell them. Don't really need to sell these. Oh, foot soldier gauntlets. That I can sell. Don't want to sell this. Maybe I could sell the normal, like, armor that the dudes were wearing. I don't think I would ever wear this, to be completely honest. Yeah, let's just get rid of it. Don't really have that much more here. Even though I like how this shield looks, I should probably get rid of it. And since I'm really using this now, I could actually get rid of both of these, right? While I think that this shield theoretically fits my character's aesthetic a bit better, I do, funnily enough, dislike that it's the starting gear. And yeah, I think I should kind of move on from that. So let's get rid of these two. And I'm also debating, I mean, I have the skill anyway, right? Although the shield boot, let's keep it. And the flame one is just a worse version. No, I guess it's not really. It's better with holy and lightning. Wait, so this has 8544, so there's 2 better. 3 better, and then only 1 better. Yeah, technically this has better stats overall. Let's get rid of this one as well. Just to clean up the inventory a little bit. I can also sell these. I don't need them anyway. I can't use them. Well, I'm not too sure if I'm ever gonna go back to a bow, to be completely honest. But then again, yeah, don't really want to get rid of it either. Gets a bit more complicated here. So the short sword, I can probably sell, right? I feel like that's very, very similar to what I have, and it's not really all that special, to be completely honest. Ooh, wait a second. This thing is actually better than the claymore, huh? The great swords, they all look pretty awesome, to be honest. I'm gonna keep them for now. Well, I have this leveled, right? Let me see. Shamshir, I kind of wanted to try that, but at the same time, don't really necessarily like its aesthetic. I don't want to keep too much here, but I also don't want to get rid of everything. There's a couple of really cool things in here. Ashes of War. Yeah, to be completely honest, I think that's kind of fine for now. And then in terms of the materials, do I have anything that's like too much? I mean, I need these now for a couple of things. Well, I don't need 100 though. So let's sell at least 20. Other than that, that's kind of fine. Do I have anything here that I don't necessarily need? I mean, there's definitely some stuff that probably will never be using. These things are kind of cool, though. I think since, well, at least the way I'm currently built, I can't use any kind of greases. So maybe I want to use the Exalted Flesh a bit more to increase my strength further. That being said, is there anything else I would like to sell? I don't necessarily think so. What was it? 12,904? So I need, what? 2,000 more is 11... Pretty much this, right? Or rather this. And then I'm just gonna go... Should be enough, right? Level up. Vigor or Mind first? Nah, I really need to go for Mind, I feel like. At this point, I definitely... So, the thing is, originally I wanted to level Mind in order to be able to summon those legendary ashes, which require like 100 FP. One requires 104, and the other one I think 101. So that's kind of what I want to go for, but I also want to increase my vigor somewhat. So I think I'm gonna go with Mind to 20 first and see how much FP that is. I think I'm going to be just a bit short of actually being able to summon those ashes. But I do want to go for Mind to 20 first, and then maybe 2 points of vigor or something. Then I want to increase Mind a bit further so that I'm actually able to summon those legendary ashes. Then I'm going to go for a bit more vigor till I think something like 20. and then we're gonna go back to Faith / Arcane. Maybe I'll do somewhat of a, like, 3 points in Faith, 1 point Arcane, 3 points Faith, 1 point Arcane, something like that. It's gonna take a fuck ton of time anyways, but yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna try to go for. And considering that I am somewhat close to getting back to Stormvale and potentially defeating Godric, I kind of hope, honestly, that he's gonna drop another one of those pouches. I feel like he won't, but it would be pretty awesome to be able to use at least a third talisman. I mean, tell you what, I'm gonna be severely disappointed if it turns out that you only get 2 talismans in this game. That, I don't know, feels like not adequately enough for all the stuff you can actually get in here. Okay, let's go back to where we left off earlier, and maybe let's do just a tiny bit of a backtrack. This guy's still here, right? So you're just chilling here?
Hello. Glad to see you safe.
Yeah, you too.
Battle art or two.
It's not really the
Well,
most comfortable place, I feel like, but whatever suits you, I guess. Yeah, I was wondering whether or not I maybe missed something over here. The thing is, ooh, I need more of this root resin. So I definitely checked out this area, but I need to make sure that I looked at everything sort of over here. And I guess then we can go further north. Oh yeah, so I technically can switch back to my shield now for the majority of the time, because it still allows me to use my battle skill. Although, well, I don't really need to go back here. I think I actually collected everything from here. I just need to make sure that there's nothing else sort of on the ruin back there. Oh, that's kind of a cool shot. The light flowing sort of, you know, adjacent to the big white tower, even though you can't really make out what kind of tower it is. Okay, so then let's take a look at if there is a way to move up here. And whether or not there's anything interesting up here at all. You know what? Let's just do this. Well, there's something there, so I need to kill those giants. Did you see me? They're sometimes a bit elusive, I feel like. Like, these giants, there's sometimes they don't really do anything at all for a prolonged period of time, and then suddenly they're very attentive. Okay, this looks like it might have something on top, right? This is what I cleared out earlier. I guess they are sometimes just screaming, sort of on their own. Okay. Well, that's disappointing. Doesn't look like there's anything here, to be honest. Wait, do I want to try and deal with the giants? Oh, wait. Is that the first time I actually got fall damaged without being killed? Huh. Oh yeah, let's try and deal with them. Wait, how many of them are? What the fuck? Why are there so many? I honestly, I don't know why they don't let you pick up stuff while your horse is turning around. That is such a weird choice. I don't know what the purpose of that would be. Oh wait, there's actually quite a lot of them. What the fuck? Okay, I need to try and pull them individually. Can you guys, like, stop attacking me? What's the deal with you? Can I try pulling them individually? I don't even know if I want to fight them all. But there is one of them sitting there, right? So I suspect that... kind of might be a good idea to go after them. Come here, you old doofus. Yeah, I see you. Oh yeah, that works beautifully. Ooh. Well, still need to figure out the correct timing, so... I do like... To be honest, when I originally tested this holy... what's it called? Like holy upgrade? Not really upgrade, but the... You know, when I make my sword have holy damage attached to it. Originally, I felt like that was actually a lot worse. Or rather, I thought that it wouldn't last for that long, but it's actually quite good. Like, it honestly... works very well. I actually thought he was going to hit me with that, because usually they have this really annoying and way too much over-the-top tracking. But apparently not this time. But yeah, I do like, I mean, imagine, think about what kind of an upgrade that was for me now, right? To be able to deal with them so quickly, that's kind of nuts compared to before, right? Where I felt like I was really struggling against them, really struggling to sort of... Can I hit you? Wait, I actually hit him, I think. Or did I? Yeah, I did. Whoa! I forgot that they have that. Can you, like, you know, come here. Seriously? What's the deal with you? Oh, shoot. That also takes off quite a lot of stamina for some reason. What the fuck's he doing? Ooh, that was bad timing. Bye-bye. Wait, do I get the, I think he doesn't care. Ooh. Wait, there's another one of these weird statues here. That is interesting. Oh. Oh. Never mind, that actually hit him. Oh, I like the shield as well. Are you serious? He should have been dead long ago. Yeah, I mean, well, the Flask of Wondrous Physique is supposed to be special, right? And it's supposed to be fairly good. But at the same time, I do feel like, I wish they would have, made it that it also replenished while you were going through the overworld. I feel like it's just kind of weird that it doesn't. Oh, wait. Well, so that's why they glow. They have something in them. But I can't destroy them, so the giants have to. I actually wouldn't have figured that out without the message. Thank you. It's a very good message. Also, that means that the one in Stormlight Castle that's also glowing is destroyable as well, I guess. Well, good thing there's still one of them here, huh? Come here, you big doofus. Wait, did I hit you in the head? I'm sorry. Oh, for fuck's sake, are you telling me? You please... I find that really... Like, that's pretty fun, right? The fact that if you hit them in the head, that they're actually holding their hand in front of their head. I mean, obviously that's the same thing that the giants do in Breath of the Wild, so it's not that. Ah, okay. Yeah. The fuck's he doing? Oh. That was an awkward roll timing. How? Wait, or did that hit? Actually, not so sure. It might have. Ah, whatever. God, I like that. Especially also the fact that you can... Are you serious? Ooh, wait, 5. Okay. Well, it's not that bad. Not that bad. Okay. Well, now I know what these statues are about. That's pretty cool. That is one thing, by the way. So I think the kind of destructible elements that they put into the world, and the fact that only strong, like, big enemies, like giants and stuff, can actually destroy things, that is awesome. Like, that's absolutely really, really cool how they've implemented that. I very much like that. And that is also something, like, see, they can be incredibly innovative, and they can come up with really cool shit. It's just that sometimes they sort of just don't. But, oh well. Okay. Somewhat of a bit of a disappointing, I guess, haul overall, considering that I fought, like, how many? 4 of these giants? And that's only a couple of smithing stones and a beast liver? Oh well. Okay, that's the shack, yeah. So I guess that's everything here. Was I down there at some point? I feel like I was. I'm just slightly confused why I haven't really seen that lake. Oh no, never mind, it's over there, right? I must have been down there at some point, right? I think I just didn't go, like, up here because I saw the giants everywhere. There's this thing still. I don't think it's... I think it's standing in front of something. Nothing else here, really. Yeah, to be honest, I actually don't remember if I was down here at some point. Wait, why is it? Oh, This is... Ah, yeah, okay. Now I remember. Shit, okay. So I've definitely been down here. Let's teleport back. Yeah, that's the place where we found these storm flower things. Okay, never mind then. Let's check out up here a bit more. Let's check out this area, and then afterwards we'll check out the northern part of it a bit more. What's going on here? There's a couple of people here. Wait, where am I exactly? It's not really where I want to go, actually. What the fuck are you doing here? Huh. What the hell are they doing here? There is an item. Hello. I mean, the attack itself does seem to have somewhat of a high, like, poise value, I guess. That's Stormvale, right? Oh no, never mind. I think that's actually the bridge. But yeah, I feel like the L2, the skill itself, does have somewhat of a high poise, so it can't be sort of taken out of it too fast. Oh, there's these weird. The ones that explode, I think. I mean, for some reason he also wasn't really able, or he didn't really hit me, I guess. I don't know, I have to keep an eye out for that. That's the only thing that I don't really like about the, what's the deal with you? Why are you constantly attacking me? Stop doing that. Yeah, that's the only thing that I don't really like about the skill, is that the wind-up, you know, is somewhat on the longer side. I mean, obviously, that's part of the fun, I guess. Because that means that you actually properly have to sort of do some, you know, you actually have to do some thinking and figuring out when to properly use it. I wonder what's up with these weird stone worms. Why are they... Can the normal ones even turn into these bigger... Or can they even curl up like that? Because I've only ever seen worms that were already curled up, and they subsequently explode. But the normal ones... They're always sort of passive. I mean, I'd imagine, like, if I let them, they might also do that, but... See, I mean, they're not really doing that much, to be honest. Okay, these items are sometimes weirdly placed. I feel like you should be able to pick them up more easily. Okay. But I also think that that's pretty much everything that we can do down here. Because we can already see the shack where... What was her name? Rodrika sat in? And... Well, I think I already looked at large parts of these kind of areas when I went to Stormvale earlier. So how do I want to do this? Probably want to check out this part first. Also, if there are indeed more of these, like if there's one of those stone, or not stone giants, whatever the giants are called, the actual giants, right? Not these trolls. If they are actually on that bridge up there, should be somewhat easy enough to deal with, unless they have a much more increased health pool, which I don't necessarily think they would have. Okay. What is that? Oh, those are just a couple of bats. Well, I mean, there is like a way that goes north up here. Do I want to check that out already? I mean, potentially, right? Why not, actually? I don't expect it to be too interesting. I have a feeling that you're actually not really able to venture further north until you deal with Stormvale, but then again, there's definitely been things that I just wasn't really like properly aware of, I guess. Just immediately knocked them out. God, I like the sword. Holy shit. I mean, not the sword itself, but the effect. I mean, the sword is cool. That's why I chose it, right? But the effect is just awesome. Also, I find it really, really interesting that, you know, this is marked as a path on the map. And, well, yeah, it does look like one from here. But when I went to Stormvale earlier, it just doesn't look like it's actually continuing. Which is also very interesting, how they managed to do that. Like, it's just, hello. Wait, he was just dead. Wow. Am I that strong now? Holy shit. Should I replenish my stuff? Not really necessary. Okay, so that's the Colosseum looking thing on the map. You think there's gonna be an optional boss in there? Probably, huh? I mean, it would make sense. Not that much more here, I feel like. I mean, we'll come back here anyways. Just wanted to check out the bridge first. Because on the map it doesn't look like it's actually continuing, so... don't really expect that it will. So this bridge looks somewhat like the other one, like this one over here, the Saints Bridge. Are you an NPC? Hey! Wait a second, you look like one of those old maidens in the round table hold. Why are you sitting like that?
You, please, I can read them.
Read what?
Your fingers, please, your fingers.
The fuck? Oh, okay.
Bless you. Head to the foundation of gold tarnished. Traverse Rea Lucaria, glintstone eventide, and reunite the half-crescents at the grand lift. Oh, but the bridge is collapsed and cannot be crossed. Only, why should that matter? Stormvale Castle still stands tall.
So, first of all, just as I suspected, it seems like we have to deal with Stormvale Castle to continue. The rest of what you said was really interesting. So first of all, I didn't really pick up on that earlier. Maybe it's because, well, the word finger maidens just, the innuendo on that is a bit on the nose maybe, but so they're reading your fingers? I didn't really connect that. So I guess in this world, it's not really so much hand reading that can predict your future or whatever, but it's finger reading, which does make sense considering, the all the fingers that are connected to multiplayer. Can I get that again? Head to the foundation of gold, so I suspect that's the Earth Tree, right? Traverse Rhea Lucaria, Glintstone Eventide.
And reunite the half-crescents at the grand lift. Oh, but the bridge is collapsed and cannot be crossed. Only storm.
Can I get that again? Okay, so head to the foundation of gold, Glintstone Eventide.
Glintstone Eventide. And reunite the half-crescents at the grand lift.
Oh, reunite the... Yeah, okay, I get it.
Cannot be crossed.
Reunite the half-crescents.
Why should that matter? Stormvale Castle.
Okay, so she is just literally telling us what we're supposed to do. Which is interesting in a couple of ways, or, well, specifically one way. Let me just check something here. Glintstone Eventide. I don't really get what that's supposed to refer to. Is that just like another name for Rhea Lucaria, or is that an actual hint that I need to do something like when it's turning nighttime or something? I don't necessarily think so, but So yeah, we're supposed to head to the Earth Tree. Apparently Rhea Lucaria lies behind Stormvale, is what I gathered from this, which is really interesting. I hope we can actually look at that place, right? Because we've heard at least a little bit about it. Reunite the half-crescents. That refers to what we found in... well, where did we actually find it? Was that in the fort? I think it actually was, wasn't it? We got one of these... where is it? Key items... This one. The Dectus medallion left. And there has to be a right one. Well, and the medallion pretty much tells us, yeah, it activates some grand lift of Dectus, which I suspect we need to activate in order to continue to Stormvale. Which is also really interesting. So, yes, the game does feature these teleport chests and stuff, which I think they can actually be used to sort of circumvent this. So I don't think they're forcing you to do Stormvale. You could literally just sort of walk past it. I do think that that technically works because of the teleporter chests. But without those teleporters, funnily enough, the game doesn't actually seem to be, well, yes, it's an open world in a way, but it does work eerily similar to the rest of the FromSoft games, just a lot less with corridors, right? So you have this big, like, open world, only that it works very, very similarly to the levels in the other FromSoft games. Just, in this case, a level is one giant open space, rather than, well, one small level. But the basic function of it is very much the same, which is interesting. But I mean, I suspected that earlier as well. It's I honestly wouldn't completely define it as an open world game. Although, you know, at that point we're really talking only semantics, right? It's not really, you know, it's not really, oh, hey, another cookbook. Number 7, okay. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day is what I mean, right? Although, looking at this, you think this is maybe a path to continue, or is that like a second... Well, this could actually lead back into Stormvale, now that I'm looking at it, which would be quite funny. Maybe? Although we're pretty far away from the vault. But yeah, it is very interesting how this whole thing works. I mean, I'm still sort of missing this small part here. I don't expect there to be too much there. Let's just check this out. I mean, if it ultimately leads, I guess, too far, I could always sort of turn back. What's up with all the messages? Also, I was sort of suspecting that something from there would hit us. But maybe not. I can hear a, Aha. I wonder if there's going to be a, Oh, for fuck's sake, seriously? Stormwall. Nice. Ooh. Sure. Yeah, I'm curious where this actually leads. Does it lead back into the castle? Because if it does, that would be pretty awesome. I wouldn't have expected there to be another entranceway, to be completely honest. Maybe this is some sort of a hidden path where you potentially can enter the castle without fighting Margit? If that would be a thing, that would be actually quite incredible. If also a little bit weird. Let's see. Or maybe this is just an actual dungeon. Where the fuck are we? Oh, never mind. I think it does actually continue, doesn't it? Yeah, this very much looks like it will lead just back here. You think there's a site of grace here somewhere? I mean, I don't really want to continue this way, but at the same time we're already here, so... So I guess you don't have to do a Stormvale? I mean, what's... I mean, at the end of the day, maybe I suspect that Godric will probably drop something that we need at some point, maybe, potentially. That was a very abrupt change in scenery. Oh, for a second I thought that was like a wolf that, I don't know, was glowing red or something, but nope. It was just the blood stain and the, like a weird combination of a blood stain together with the with these plants. Wait, what? Whoa! Shoot. I didn't look at my HP. Wait, didn't you only attack me like 3 times? How the fuck did that cost me? Oh, for fuck's sake. Well, sometimes I'm really doing stupid shit, ain't I? Well, how do I get back there now? Well, you know what? At least that's a good opportunity to check out sort of the left side area that I was missing earlier. I really didn't want to do this, but whatever. Okay, so let's take a look. So the actual like path or road Yeah, it's very, very hard to see. It's there if you know it, but it is somewhat hard to see. And then this just sort of... doesn't lead anywhere, really? Okay. Nothing here specifically. And that's the bridge again. Yeah, so I don't think there's actually anything here. Seems like. Which would have been very surprising if there was. Okay, those are just messages. And let's just go to where I died. And so that means that yeah, that should be pretty much this entire area that I just looked at. I don't think you can actually go here. I think this is actually inaccessible. And then I don't know if you be able to go here. I also wonder why she's sitting here specifically. Kind of a strange place to chill out. I wonder what her original... I mean, she looks like one of those finger maidens, right? She looks exactly like the old maidens from the Round Table Hold. Only that she seems to be still alive. But... Yeah, what does that mean exactly? I mean... Why would she be sitting here? Instead of... I don't know... Well, I mean, what do they do other than helping Tarnished, maybe? Is she just waiting for someone, or is she trying to guide Tarnished to wherever they need to go? Somewhat unclear on that point, right? Wait, how much further was it? The fuck? Oh. Thought it was pretty close already, but apparently not. Oh. Is the last one like stronger or something? That's weird. He looks exactly like the other ones. Music change. Interesting. Interesting music. The music's actually quite good, to be completely honest. Or, well, quite good is maybe somewhat of an overstatement, but certainly... Why am I dealing more damage to some of them? But yeah, I mean, the Liornia of the Lakes, okay. I'm very high up. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of the music in-game in general, and the problem is that it sort of overstays its welcome way too much. So normally in games, I feel like you just have a bit more of a music change from time to time, right? I mean, maybe that's also sort of because of the structure of the game itself. Ooh, this looks pretty cool. It's a bit foggy, but never mind! The fog's gone! Okay, well that's... Wow, holy fuck. That looks beautiful. So there's like a big foresty area down there with like bitmap trees. They don't look too good from here, but whatever. That looks very cool though. A path that looks like an Everjail. Then we have another chapel back there, another minor earth tree. I suspect that that's probably going to be Raya Lucaria, that castle in the middle there. Very, very cool looking. And then sort of a broken up path leading towards another one of those white towers, which now that I can see them, oh, so the earth tree, well, it's not really located in the middle of this giant lake, but it's, I mean, I guess close enough. And then these white towers are actually, you know, loosely sort of circled around it. I wonder what the significance there is. But it looks awesome. So I guess our objective here is to sort of loop around the whole earth tree, right? Ultimately ending up somewhere there, and then, yeah, from there, I feel like we should be able to deal with it, or deal with whatever is in there, or, yeah, I don't really know. That's going to be quite awesome, to be honest. I mean, the world is really cool looking, right? Ah, and there's the site of grace that I was looking for. And also, is that the guy, is that the man in the white mask? Did he move on? Still need to deal with Stormmail, though. I wonder if he's going to comment on it, if it's in fact the same guy. Well, hello there. So there is a back entrance. Okay. Okay, I see. Wait, what is this? I saw this flower here earlier. Did I just pick it up? What is this? A crystal bud. This one. A young plant crystallized before it could mature. Widely found in Leonia Lake. Plants can crystallize? What does that mean? Ah, never mind. It's not the guy in the white mask. Aha! And lake-facing cliffs. We get a new guidance. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, so I'm really not a fan of this guidance thing. I mean, look at this place. There's pretty much only one way you can go. Why would they guide you? I mean, well, I guess as soon as you get down to that sort of foggy, woody area, then it might be different, but I don't know. So who are you?
Hello? Is someone there?
There is indeed.
My name is Hayata, and I'm journeying in search of the distant light. If I might be so bold as to ask, would you donate any Shabriri grapes in your possession to me?
Shabriri grapes?
Since birth, you see. I can't tell which way I'm supposed to go next, but when I eat one of those grapes, I can feel a distant light in the back of my eyes. It will lead me to my true duty as a finger maiden.
What's up with finger maidens losing their eyesight? I mean, I think our finger maiden talked about that at some point, right? They run the risk of losing it when they... I don't actually remember what she said. So she wants what? Shabriri? Shabriri grapes. In order to see again slightly. Okay. Well, I don't have any.
Would you donate him on a pilgrim when I eat one of those grapes?
Well, we have to find the grapes at some point. Also, one thing that I completely forgot is the fact that now, from this place, we're actually able to go back to the place where we started the game. That Chapel of Anticipation back there. This is how to get back to it. Well, I mean, obviously I'm not going to do this now, because I want to clear out the castle first, and we still have to do the rest of Limgrave. I do want to know, however, where the fuck this secret entrance here actually leads. If I can find it again. Yeah, here it is. Stormvale Castle. Ooh, another one of those ghosts. From this side, the castle actually looks a lot more like the structures that we found in the ancestral home, right? Or the ancestral, whatever the fuck they were. What an interesting entrance. It almost looks like kind of a storage room in a way. What's up with this guy? Oh, well that was easy. Okay. Maiden, dear maiden, where are you? Please take my grapes. Okay. Why is he in that position, though? I have absolutely no idea what the significance of these mushrooms is supposed to be. Like, where they may be, when they were still alive, where they may be sort of, I don't know, taken or influenced by these mushrooms that potentially grew out of the roots of the, like, earth tree or something, and that's why they, you know, maybe they didn't want to die or something. Okay, well now we have the grape to give to the maiden. Interestingly enough, it looks a lot like, wait, it's here somewhere, right? Wait, is it? Yeah, it is. Yellowing, oozing eyeball of the infirm. Ew. A yellowing, oozing eyeball of the infirm. The surface is shriveled and the inside is squishy, not unlike a large, overly ripe grape. Give to the blind maiden to guide her to the distant light. Well, that's a very tutorial-like description. Eyeball of the infirm. What a weird... You think that's connected to something that we found at some point? I mean, it's interesting that it's yellow, considering that I think the people that had that frenzy stuff going on in that one village on the Weeping Peninsula, that was also yellow, wasn't it? But it's an eyeball of the infirm? And she wants to eat that? Okay. Yeah, it's just interesting to me. It looks very, very similar. Well, I mean, it's also supposed to be an eye, right? Although, it actually doesn't look that similar to this thing. I mean, they're both supposed to be eyeballs, but that's pretty much it. They look less alike than I thought they would be. So the grape is a yellowing, oozing eyeball of the infirm. So I guess that'll just start some kind of quest line with that maiden, I suppose. Probably. It's kind of crazy to me how many NPCs I've met all of a sudden. There's quite a lot going on there. It's just... At the same time, it's just kind of strange. I feel like. The way the way the game handles that. Wait, what? Why is there a symbol of the round table hold here? That looks like the king's chair or whatever. What the fuck? Is that... What? Wait! What's going on here? Okay, we have these monks again, where branches are growing out of the floor. Also, I mean, look behind them. On the tablets behind them, that looks very, very similar to the ancestral stuff, doesn't it? Different, but very similar in sort of its layout. And then that guy, is that supposed to be the actual Godric? Or is it supposed to be Godfrey? It's very hard to make out. I don't actually... I mean, technically it should be Godric, considering that we're in Stormvale Castle, and this looks like his sort of throne room, I guess? Although, why would we be able to access it from the wrong side? What a weird thing. Also, do you see that door? Doesn't it look like somewhat of a face with those two black things as eyeballs? Okay, and you just can't open it. I feel like this leads back outside into the boss room, right? What? Huh? Okay. I mean, this is clearly the throne room, right? Why would they display the symbol of the round table hold here? Why can't you even, like, access it? Oh, right, I can't actually attack. I was sort of confused for a moment there why I couldn't attack, but yeah. Okay, well this is just weird. Why are you able to go in here if you haven't cleared the fight? What's the purpose of it? I thought there was going to be some sort of cool, I don't know, secret? Or something? But apparently not. I mean, it would have been awesome if, I don't know, there was something that would let you get like an advantage in the boss fight or something, you know, something you could unlock, or some sort of secret weapon that you could find. What a weird place, especially that they display the symbol of the round table hold, because, well, I mean, there's literally nothing there, right? Very weird. Well, I mean, I'm not going to come back here for quite a while, but let's just start the quest, I guess. Hello.
Hello? Would you donate them on a pilgrimage, and when I eat one of those grapes?
Oh, never mind. I already read that.
Oh, many thanks to you. Now I can feel the distant light once more. You are most kind indeed. May the blessing of the fingers be upon you.
As you wish.
You are most kind indeed. May the blessing...
Okay, well that's, I suspect she's just gonna be gone when I rest. Yes, she is. I wish I could talk to a finger maiden now. I mean, wouldn't she say something about this maiden? Shouldn't they potentially be acquainted or something? The hell are you doing? What the hell is going on?
Good to see you, Master.
Good to see you.
Do you remember me? Bok, the demi-human. You helped me before, and retrieved my sewing needle.
Indeed, I remember you.
Master, allow me to serve you as your seamster. I can't make nothing from scratch, but I'm happy to make adjustments to your garments.
Okay, don't tell me what.
Master, I was wondering, do you ever make adjustments to your garb yourself?
Well, not so
I would,
far.
well, rather you let me do the job when possible, please. I don't ask anything in return, you know, and, well, I am your personal seamster after all.
Okay. But, so, what? Isn't that's the same thing that I was able to do. Ooh, sorry, I had to sneeze. Okay. So first of all, I still find it incredibly strange that for some reason these are the only clothes seemingly that I can alter. Which, like, why? And, well, what's the point? Common is simply garb altered. So it removes the cape from it. I don't know. Let's do it, I guess? Yeah? And now I can alter it back. Cool.
Oh, going so soon? Please do be safe on your journeys.
And he's just gonna chill out here then? Or how's that work? What a weird location. See, this is what I mean. I mean, the quest line with him, I mean, it seems to be finished now, I guess. Was actually kind of cool. It's just, it's so random. Why didn't he say something along the lines of, oh, you know, once you pass Stormvale, we're probably gonna meet again, or something along those lines, right? Why make it so obscure, but then at the same time, it's not obscure at all. He's just gonna appear at some point, and that's it. What a weird thing. I wonder if we'll meet Edgar again the same way. Okay, so, well, that's everything here done, I guess. It's cool that we have this, because that means that, well, we can just continue from here. No idea what the whole thing with the back throne room is supposed to be. I mean, I guess at some point we'll be able to, if I defeat Godric, I suspect that I'm just able to go through the door, and then potentially there's going to be an NPC or whatever behind it. So, I mean, well, yeah, that's sort of the only explanation that I have for that at this point. Okay, so I guess we'll just check out the rest of the area. Yeah, let's go over here, and then into these woods, and then we can go to the Colosseum from there. But so random with the quest lines, right? I mean, the technology is somewhat there, right? They are just, I don't know why they're doing it in this weird way instead of, I don't know. I mean, why not make them talk more? Why not implement like a proper dialogue system? It doesn't need to be, you know, as extensive as, I don't know, well, even Skyrim's or something. We don't actually need that much. I mean, that's one of the things that I always liked about FromSoft's approach, is that they don't necessarily feel to, you know, fill some sort of awkward void, even though it's, you know, nobody asked it to be filled. So, for example, I think, was that in Skyrim? Or maybe that was back in Oblivion or something. I think you could ask every single NPC after, like, rumors or something. And that was completely unnecessary, right? That option might as well just not have been there, but I feel like they probably wanted to have, I don't know, an option to sort of fall back on in case for whatever reason an NPC didn't have anything to talk about, and maybe they didn't want to have it feel awkward that there was literally no dialogue option at all. So they decided, yeah, why not, implement something like that, where it would just display, rumors, and they would just, I don't know, talk about random rumors. I mean, in a way, it was kind of cool because it actually took, some of your actions into account. So if you did something in the area, or if there was still a quest line going on, they would actually talk about that. So that was, like, in a way, it was pretty cool. That being said, though, yeah, I do very much appreciate it, in terms of FromSoft games, that they never... Why is he stomping right away? But yeah, I always appreciated that they never, at least so far, sort of made you feel like they had to fill some sort of void within the game, right? Everything that existed in the game was also fairly... Oh, strength not crystal tier. What does that do here? We're close to the Earth Tree or something. It's kind of weird. So in a way, that's cool, right? That's something that I really like about the game, or the games from FromSoft, and I talked about that in the past as well, that in Bloodborne, for example, well, all of the items that you typically find, they're at least something interesting, right? You might not be able to use all of them, you might not, they might not be for the build that you're going for, maybe their requirements are just a bit too high, or maybe they're just not really for you, but it's always something interesting, right? Whereas in a lot of other games, especially Ubisoft open world games, right? The world's just filled with a bunch of crap. And crap that you literally don't use or have so much of that it doesn't matter, right? And I very much like that FromSoft takes this approach of, well, less is more in a lot of ways. That being said, though, with these quests, so I'm not advocating for, dialogue that doesn't make sense or dialogue that's just there to have more dialogue. That's not really what I'm saying, but I wish they would have at least, some form, because, I mean, that's the biggest problem. Your character as well never really feels like a character, right? We're this tarnished guy, and, well, we're just sort of here. We're just sort of existing. Everybody's talking to us, but we're not actually responding. And the weirdest thing is, sometimes you can ask questions or talk about certain topics, but most of the time you can't. And it's just this very, very awkward thing where, you need to find, I guess, the right balance between having dialogue in your game that is unnecessary or having so little that it doesn't feel natural, right? So there needs to be some sort of middle ground where there is enough dialogue. Dialogue shouldn't be uninteresting, should always be interesting. It should always actually convey something and not be just there for dialogue's sake. But at the same time, it needs to have enough dialogue to where it at least feels somewhat natural, right? If you meet a character for the first time, for example, you should always be able to ask them, well, who are you, right? What are you doing here? At least like 2 or 3 things that somewhat explain what's going on. And, yeah, sadly you can't really do that. And so it's, I don't know. I wish they would just do it a little bit differently. Ooh, right, we have that as well. I wonder how long this lasts, and I also wonder how strong it actually is. Because if this would boost my holy attack by a lot, maybe I'd go for this instead of the Crimson Crystal tier. half of total HP isn't bad, right? But it's also not exactly the best thing ever, considering that I have 7 other flasks. Well, at least in the overworld, it's just, you know, the flasks are kind of unnecessary in their number. Okay. Well, let's actually take the normal path. I don't think that there's any point in just skipping right to that Colosseum place. That's quite high. But yeah, that's always the issue, right? You need to... So you can definitely do a game like this without any dialogue options. That would be a possibility as well. But the problem is, well, they started with them, right? There are dialogue options in this game. And so if you put them there, then, you know, somewhat similar dialogue options need to exist everywhere, right? So if you can ask the first merchant for a recommendation, you should also be able to ask the other ones. And you can keep it interesting, right? I'm not saying that it necessarily... Oh, hello. I'm not saying that it needs to be the exact same question every time, right? It doesn't need to be... Oh, hi. You know, it doesn't need to be super uninteresting or something. That's not what I'm saying, but... yeah, I don't know. It's especially when you think about where the merchants are located. It's just really, really strange that you aren't even able to talk to them, right? Not even once. And it takes a lot of the immersion out of the game for me personally, because it just feels like we're this, I don't know, it almost feels like we're the sort of the weird guy, the hollow one, right? The one that's just walking around slaughtering things, I guess. I find it very interesting that this giant bridge doesn't really have anything at its feet. It's literally just a giant bridge. Oh, there's another ghost in front of the Colosseum place. Can we not actually do something here? Well, that guy's burned. Okay, competitive multiplayer, sure. Use Duelist's Swirled Finger to write a red summon sign. Competitive multiplayer will begin once you have been summoned by a player from another world. You will take the role of an adversary, Duelist, and your objective is to defeat the host of fingers who summoned you. And that's possible with the small red effigy and the Duelist's Swirled Finger. Why did I kind of expect... I don't know, we'll get into it in a second. All I wanted was to fight as a warrior to the last. So why, O Guidance of Grace, will this door not open? Ooh, maybe it's more interesting than I thought. Symbol of the Earth Tree on it. So, what was it? Dark Souls 2. I was actually pretty disappointed. There is a level in Dark Souls 2 where there is a very similar Colosseum. Well, not very similar, but it's also a Colosseum. And, those trees look kind of weird. And, well, it just looks awesome from a distance, right? And then you go there, and there is... Well, I mean, Dark Souls 2 bosses aren't really something to rave about, but, you know, there is a boss there. And, oh, that's just unlocked. And, yeah, then you go in, you fight the boss, you defeat the boss, and, well... You can enter the, what I believe is the PvP Covenant or something in Dark Souls 2. But that's pretty much it then, right? There is sort of nothing you can really do there. You can't even really explore the Colosseum. So if this is similar here, where this is sort of the duelist's place in this game, It's somewhat disappointing for PvE players, I guess. I don't know, it feels kind of like a waste of space to have this giant building here and then it's just PvP. But the way he worded it now made me think that maybe if you defeat enough, or maybe if you win enough duels, this door will actually open. That would be a pretty cool way to actually entice you to duel. Okay, so we have this, sends a co-op sign to summoning pools, and then sends a hostile sign to summoning pools. Send a competitive summon sign to several nearby summoning pools. In competitive multiplayer, your objective will be to defeat the host of Fingers of the Wild. Okay. Ooh, wait a second. So, actually, I never really connected these effigies to the way people are put up on those. Well, the things that look very similar to this one, right? The symbol of Queen Marika with these dead people on it. What's the meaning behind that? And then we have the duelist's furled finger. A finger of corpse wax furled like a hook. The bronze adornments are the mark of a duelist. Okay, so we have the tarnished furled finger. So if I activate this, my summon sign will show up at other players' summoning pools, correct? No, wait, that's what this one does. What does this one? Oh, no, never mind. So this sends a cooperative summon sign to the summoning pools. And this places it where I am, I guess? What a weird distinction, actually. And then the same thing here, right? Either send it to the summoning pools or put it somewhere specifically. But yeah, that's a very, very weird way of doing this. And so, and if I want to get somebody summoned, I use this one. And then we also have the festering bloody finger, and that is to just invade somebody else. Which is not a duel, it's something else. Right? So a duel is always like you'll only be summoned if somebody else wants you to be there to duel them. Whereas this just invades anybody, I guess. And this is to, you know, if I summon somebody, I can send them back, or if I have been summoned, I can send myself back. And this is for messages, okay. I wish they would have a little bit more explanation here as to what these signs are sort of supposed to represent, rather than only their function. But yeah, I mean, it does sound very interesting, right? I wonder if something actually can open up this place. What is that? Those are like... Yeah, no idea what that is. We'll check it out in a minute. Oh yeah, there's more of these. Aren't they also these big giant dudes? Yeah, they are. Did they fall from the bridge at some point? Maybe. So I've already checked out here, right? So I guess there isn't even that much more left here then, huh? Very much looks like we've pretty much done everything there is. Except for potentially... Yeah, there's a lot of these dead giants around, isn't there? We saw them on the top of the... Ah, there's another one of those. Hello there. That's a normal knight, though. What the fuck was that? Oh, that was some sort of buff. Interesting. This is so dumb. Easy enough. Golden Vow. He actually dropped that. Very cool. What is it? Sacred. Grants a sacred affinity. Golden Vow. Skill passed down from antiquity among the knights of the capital. Raise armament aloft and pledge to honor the Erdtree in battle, granting self and nearby allies increased attack power and defense. Wow. You know what's really cool? You can actually play this, like, almost... well, I don't really want to say MMO-like, but you can actually be a supporting character. If you play in co-op, you can actually heal... you can heal others, and you can, you know, do all kinds of things. It's pretty awesome. Huh. Okay, those are fire slugs. Okay. Definitely a new enemy. We haven't seen those before. Well, I think in this case it's actually going to be more interesting to see what's on the bridge at some point. And we'll get there, right? I mean, I've already unlocked the Sign of Grace. What are you? I thought for a second it was going to explode or something. Weird. No idea what the deal with those is. This is an awesome place to farm the smoldering butterflies, though. Well, I mean, I guess there really isn't much more to this whole place. I mean, well, we got 2 ashes, right? Yeah. That's pretty cool. It's often, you know, a little bit different to what you'd expect, maybe. Yeah, I'm wondering about that. Would this Colosseum actually open up if you get enough duelist wins? Well, the problem is, I definitely don't really have a PvP build, right? I mean, there might be... What the fuck? I didn't realize that that was actually... I didn't realize that the wind could actually push you like that. That looked kind of awesome. Ooh, hello. Well, so, you know what? Except for... Oh, right, we still have this Everjail. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that I actually looked at everything there is here. So obviously the White Bridge is still something that I need to do, but that's connected to Stormvale, and there's definitely a couple more things that I still need to do in Stormvale itself. But apart from that, I think I've pretty much completed all of it here. I mean, there's like a few things still, I feel like. So, for example, this weird witch we haven't seen again. Edgar we haven't seen again. The Everjail is still there. And then we can use this teleporter to get to Gorang, or whatever his name is. But yeah. I mean, I might have overlooked something, obviously, right? The world is quite big, and it's easy to overlook caves, I guess, in certain areas. So that might be a thing, but other than that, I feel like I've pretty much completed all of Limgrave and the Weeping Peninsula at this point. Which is honestly pretty awesome. Well, the question being, what do I do next, right? How many? 8,800. I could potentially level again. I was thinking for a second of maybe buying more sorceries or something, but at the same time, I really feel like leveling's the correct choice currently. So let's go to... I guess let's go back to this shack, level once more, and then I'm gonna try the Everjail again, and probably gonna fail miserably. Or rather, well, it's gonna be interesting how much better I am right now, or how better to deal with that guy in there, I guess. Let's see. What did I want to do? So I need 13,435. 13,435. I should have probably warped back to a merchant, huh? Oh, whatever. So now I need 1,400 more. That's pretty perfect. 1,400, so that's going to be 1,400. Suddenly it's actually quite easier to acquire runes. I don't know what I did to do that. Maybe it's just because I fought a couple of those giants and they're fairly easy to kill now. But I actually managed to get quite a few levels right now. Still, you know what? Should I go for one more point in Vigor, maybe? Just because that'll give me a more immediate effect for the Everjail. Well, does it really? I mean, in a way, potentially. Let's go with mine. Let's do what I originally said and bring mine to 21st. And then I'm gonna go for, I don't know, maybe 2 more points in Vigor? Okay. Well, I can't use the grease anymore. I could try and poison him with this. I mean, I could try more ranged attacks in general, I guess. I have the sorceries and stuff now. Well, I'll just have to try, right? Let's just try, let's see what works, what doesn't. These weird wolves that spawn in with the wind. I mean, it's kind of interesting once, and then it's just more annoying than anything. It's a neat idea, I guess. This is still going to be fairly difficult. Let's try this, though. I want to see how powerful it is, actually. And, do I want to try the fetid part? What? Why? Did it not... Huh? Oh, fuck. I forgot about that bullshit. Did it not cast correctly? Oh no, never mind! It actually hits him. So it actually hits your opponent from behind. Oh, that's interesting. He's just unfortunately very, very... Oh, for fuck's sake. I hate this stupid stomp. Well, I mean, I just wanted to try it. Well... So he's still somewhat weird. I feel like I'm just using the wrong stuff against him. Magic certainly doesn't necessarily seem like the way to go, right? It's just, seemed very, very weak. Guess let's try that. Do I want to see what this does? Probably, right? I mean, let's just try a bunch of stuff. See what sticks, see what's good, what's not good. Oh, right, I could have just cast them. Well, the problem is that he's usually blocking all this stuff, right? But yeah, I feel like, in general... Is he even poisoned? I'm still struggling with the timings, though. Well, never mind. Okay, so... I have a feeling he has pretty high defenses all around for most stuff that I'm throwing at him. I'm dealing good damage, so I think I should just focus on getting my holy buff up and then dealing as much damage as possible. I mean, you think that this is actually good? I don't know, considering that he took quite a lot of damage from my holy stuff. I just wish that I had something else to damage him, right? I could try it. Just to see how powerful it really could be. But yeah, I mean, he has his shield up for quite a while, actually. And I feel like, at least in my current state, magic's not really the correct way to handle this. So let's go with let's try the Holy Pot. I don't know, I mean, well, the holy damage that I was dealing was just fairly good, so... I probably shouldn't even try that much. Just try and figure out his patterns, and just go ham with my damage, I guess. Probably the best way to handle that. I mean, as I said, my damage isn't bad. It's just, well, if he hits me, I'm taking a lot of damage, and it's, well, as always, the timings are just kind of weird to figure out, but other than that... Let's just try and see how much... I just want to see... 49. Why is that doing so little damage? Fuck. Well, it is going to be somewhat difficult to get my buff up. Shit. Yeah, oh god, he's just dealing so much damage. That's the biggest issue here. I could probably go with Exalted Flesh as well, to be completely honest. I just don't really want to waste it. I feel like, It's somewhat weird that this is only dealing, what, like 56 points of damage? I feel like it should deal way, way more than that. I mean, I don't expect this to be doing much either. Could try the Baldachin's Blessing. It's just, well, I mean, dealing with this guy head-on is probably the best solution. It's just, I wish I had a defensive buff instead of an offensive one. Because that's really what I'm struggling with here. This boosts robustness, but I don't really have much more of it. It needs nascent butterflies, okay. Budding horns. Yeah, I mean, I wish I could, I don't know, poison him or something. I want to have something else to use. You think he's susceptible to sleep? Probably not, huh? I mean, the biggest issue is really his damage. The biggest issue is that he can almost one-shot me if I'm doing something wrong. So it's really, especially with me having to get up my my buff, just really, really difficult. Unless I shield more again. Okay, and I'm still really struggling with the... God, I hate that attack so much. Oh, I wasn't even dead. Why does it happen so often? That's also something that just happens insanely often in this game. Not only to me, but also to enemies, where they just have 1 HP, but it doesn't show, really, and so you think you're dead, but you actually aren't. I just find it strange. Why does this jail exist here? Why is there an enemy that is so strong here? I mean, well, it's probably more to do with my level. The biggest issue is obviously, well, I have leveled intelligence, but I don't really have anything with intelligence that can really hurt him, right? So if I had more of a, like, defensive spell or something... I guess it's just time to learn his patterns. I mean, didn't I try parrying him last time? It didn't work out that well, right? Why? I don't get it. I was doing the exact dodge timing that I did at first, and still it didn't really work. See, again, I was actually dodging. God, that's such a bullshit attack. God, I hate that! I hate these Russians! That is so bullshit. Now he didn't do it, obviously. See how much that tracked me? What the fuck was that? What the f- Holy fuck! Holy Holy fuck. Okay, I did not expect him to turn into some kind of angel warrior. Fuck, that's gonna be hard to dodge. I mean, I have his first phase figured out somewhat. You know, the holy stuff, the holy damage thing that I can do, that's pretty good. But yeah, I need to. Well, first of all, I need to get my buff, obviously. I wish I had. The problem is, I'm not really utilizing. Oh, for fuck's sake! I didn't want to do that. Whatever. I'm not really utilizing my shield, right? So, the question then becomes, why do I have it? I could try with the fire, maybe. Or maybe, like, the black flame magic is actually doing something. Ooh, well, that's doing a lot. That's such bullshit timing. Oh, what a dumb attack. Like, honestly. Oh, I still had my buff. Okay, but fire could be the way to go. Yeah, fire could be... Fire is definitely a lot more effective against him. Which is strange, right? So I'm dealing quite a lot of holy damage to him. But at the same time, fire just deals more damage when I throw it at him? What is that about? Well, now I wonder... Let me just check real quick. Is there an incantation that I could use against him? I wonder what this does. Not much, I suppose. I have the poison mist. The black flame. I mean, the black flame's not going to be that much more effective, I feel like. I think I already pretty much have what I need. I just need to execute on it. And obviously, well, yeah, the biggest struggle will be to get the timing down for the second phase. Ah, what a bullshit roll catch, seriously. What the fuck was that? That was... Yeah, I'm once again struggling with the weird... I swear, there is something weird going on with the roll. Every time I fight enemies that are actually challenging, there is something going on with the roll where it varies the timings with your iframes, or something like that. It's very, very weird, and it's very hard to explain. I don't know. The problem is I really, really can't put my finger on it. That's what's so frustrating about it, right? I mean, it's completely fine if I'm messing up timings. I mean, that's going to happen, right? Obviously. If you're still struggling with the game, if there's still something that you just can't really do, and obviously you need to learn these enemies and learn their timings and stuff. That's not what I'm talking about, right? That's not where I have a problem. My problem is that I do that, I learn his timings, I try to dodge at the same time, and suddenly he still hits me for some weird reason. And it's very, very hard to figure out why that happens. And what's messing up the timings there? I don't really get it. And yeah, the fact that he just deals so much damage if I do something wrong, that's... Oh boy. That's really the hardest part, obviously, right? And then he has something like that, right? See? I feel like I should have gotten that dodge. And there, I pressed circle there and it just didn't happen. That's also something, that is really something that's throwing me off. It's this weird way how the game deals with inputs as well. So sometimes you press inputs, and I demonstrated that once before, right? The game is incredibly inconsistent when it comes to what inputs it reads and which ones it doesn't. And so sometimes you heal and you want to dodge roll away. And so you press circle and you think, all right, you know, I'm going to evade the next attack. But the roll just doesn't come out. It just doesn't happen. And it's very unclear why. Because sometimes it does, right? And that's very, very hard, especially with healing, that you just, you know, I don't know, it's just kind of hard to figure out. It's just inconsistent. I'm pretty sure that it is actually inconsistent. I don't really, you know, if I'm doing something wrong, then fine, but I think that the game's just inconsistent in a lot of ways. Okay, well that was me. That was totally me. Okay, I'm going to take a very small break because it's fucking warm in here. I don't know why. Be right back. Yeah, I'm just gonna do this. Wait, let's just sit down for a while. Also, I just wish that I was able to do a bit more. Like in terms of, I wish I was able to do a bit more in terms of other strategies. I think it's pretty boring that I'm just trying my holy buff and that's it, basically, right? I feel like I'm not really utilizing everything at my disposal, but at the same time, I'm not quite sure what else there really would be that's effective against him. So that's another thing that's just kind of strange. But yeah, I'll be right back. About 5 minutes. Okay, let us get back into it. I guess, yeah, let's just get a couple more attempts in, right? I'm not really sure. I feel like I feel like this guy. Well, I mean, the difference is obviously here that you need to fight him alone, right? I don't have my spirit summons or something, so that's making him harder. Obviously, still interesting to me. It's just interesting. I feel like that they put like a fairly challenging opponent here. God, I hate that attack. It has a few follow-ups that you just don't really expect. fuck. I could have used my L2 there. I pressed circle. I don't know what it is. How did I... See, in those cases I thought that I rolled way too late and it still worked. He has so many weird attacks, I swear. What the fuck is that? How did that hit me? Well, that was bullshit. Also, why didn't it... Oh, fuck. I'm out of FP. Oh, I didn't... How many more bullshit can you get? How many more? How much more? I rolled out of that! For fuck's sake! Gonna do it again anyways, isn't he? Oh, I hate that. That is so inconsistent. That is so bullshit. Fuck's sake. See, now it worked. I had the exact same timing as before. Once again, same timing. How the fuck did I do that? What? That was an awkward hit. So yeah, I had that happen again, right? It was like I did the exact same timing on the dodges and still they hit me for some reason. And also, I don't know, I think the weird part is that the delay, if you dodge roll after using something else, it doesn't necessarily have to be a heal, can also be a spell, for example. The dodge rolls on that are extremely inconsistent. Like the timing when they come out. And I don't know what that is. Is there actually some sort of variable in them if you, for example, press circle earlier or later? So the earlier you press circle, the later they come out? Is that what it is? Do you have to time your dodge roll with your heal or something? So the way it always worked in past FromSoft games, I think, is that let's say you used an item, a heal, whatever, and you also pressed circle. Then it just used the roll or whatever after the item animation was finished. But now it feels like they want you to properly time that. So if you press circle too early after using an item, you will roll, but it'll take longer than when you use it correctly? Is that what it is? It must be something like that. It's still weird though, because some of the timings, again, especially when he hit with his tail, in those cases, that was weird. But I think, I have a hunch that the thing that's confusing me is actually that I'm dodging too early. And I think it's just the animation that's confusing me, where I think, wait, was that too late? No, it was actually too early. I feel like I sometimes have to dodge later than that, which is just awkward. I don't know. See, now I dodged extremely late. Come on, do something! Well, that was bullshit. That was even more bullshit. See? Same thing. I should... I dodged... What the fuck? Huh? I don't know, but that time I dodged incredibly early and it still worked. Ah, for fuck's sake. That was a weird animation. Okay, well, that was a weird attempt in general. I'm so confused with the timings. I don't get it. Sometimes I dodge incredibly late, like way, way too late, to the point where everything he does should sure as hell hit me. And it just doesn't. It just works out to a perfect dodge roll. And you're sort of left there standing, what? Huh? So, it might also have something to do with, like, consecutive dodge rolls? I feel like consecutive rolls sometimes have bigger iframes. Or something. But it's so, like, the animations are so going against everything that is actually happening. Like, everything's just completely different to how it should be. And that is so weird. It's just so weird. I wouldn't even call it inconsistent. It's just... Oh, for fuck's sake, I forgot about the next hit. Yeah, just kill me. Oh. And yeah, I said that before. These multiple hits are just... They're boring, to be completely honest. The fact that you have to, like, there's no way around it, you have to dodge roll 4 times in order to get out of his attack. It's just boring, right? I mean, yes, of course, it does lead to the player, in this case, me, you know, I forgot that there was like a 4th hit to his combo. The longer the combo is, the more likely, obviously, it is for the player to forget something like that, but it's just not fun. Right? It's not fun having to dodge roll 4 times. It just completely breaks the pacing of the fight. It's just uninteresting, right? And now it didn't do a follow-up. The fuck? See, and now it dodged late again and still hit. Okay, well that was... I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Why? So I dodged like incredibly late and it still hit me. And then I do the same mistake twice and it doesn't hit me. Yeah, I wish the holy thing was more, the holy activation should be faster. And the problem is also, I mean, to a degree that makes sense, right? But some of his, so if you do nothing, if I just dodge once, then he also attacks just once. That's the same thing that I mentioned with the Bloodhound dog or whatever the fuck that knight was called. They are reacting to whatever you do, which in a way makes sense, but it's, I don't know, it's very hard to explain. It feels like you are, you're actually deciding for the opponent what they do, and it just works out in a very, very awkward way. I don't really know how to describe it properly. It's really just weird. See? That attack that he just did, he only did because... Fucking hell. He only did that follow-up attack because I pressed my L2. And that's annoying. Because there's no, like, when do you... when do we want to activate it? Do I honestly have to wait for its like 4 or 5 part combo and then activate my stuff? That's just boring as fuck. I don't want to wait that long. Man, yeah, I don't know. It's just... Well, now he didn't do it. Again. I don't know why that didn't hit. Why does... I don't get it! I don't get it! Why did that attack not hit me when I rolled? I rolled way too late on that. Way too late. It still didn't hit me, but the other one did. What is going on with these timings? And the problem is, you know, I'm not even really getting into the fight because I want to figure it out, but it's impossible. It seems impossible to figure out the timings. It honestly just feels like, well, not necessarily luck, but to a degree, yes. See? Now I tried the late dodge roll again. Again. Well, that was too early. That I recognized. God, I hate his weird stomp! I think he can also, like, there's definitely, it feels like there's 2 different timings to that stomp or something. Or maybe it's just because I, like, rolled earlier or something. Oh, man. It just... Why is this so inconsistent? I never had a problem with these kinds of things in earlier FromSoft games. That was always the thing that I'm, you know, dodging consistently was, you know, I never was the best in when it comes to, like, attacks and, you know, properly utilizing sort of open spots for attacks or properly comboing attacks together or something. That's usually what I'm bad at. But dodging and getting timings consistent, that's usually what I can do, which is why this is tripping me up so much. Because it shouldn't be this difficult. It feels random. It honestly does, to a degree, right? It feels like when you're pressing the dodge roll, there's like a plus 10 or minus 10% stuff that's going on. That's just random. That's what it feels like. I don't think that is actually happening, but that's what it feels like. And I have no idea what determines how it works. And I wish there was some way to figure that out. Why is my holy already gone? When? What? Wait, what? Wait, what? When did? What? Why was I on my crossbow all of a sudden? I didn't press that button. I only pressed the fucking... Maybe it's after you attacked or something that your dodge roll... Oh, I hate that attack. That is so unnecessarily annoying. Once again, I hit that timing. See, I hit it here. I hit it here. Okay, well that was on my part. God, that See, I completely messed up those dodges. I completely messed them up. And still they hit. That was bullshit. How he... Wait, why was he suddenly just able to do that? For fuck's sake. Ah, that is such bullshit timing. The animation for both attacks looks exactly similar, but they're different. Like the wind-up speed of both his sword strike that he did there and the tail swipe, they both look exactly the same, but they're different. And yeah, I could just repeat myself over and over again. I messed up so many dodge timings there. So many dodge timings were messed up. And nothing hit me. For whatever reason. Because I dodged way too late on at least 5 attacks. They all missed. But when I purposefully dodge later in order to do a proper timing or whatever, it just doesn't work. Oh, I hate that follow-up. That is so unnecessary. Also, why does my character still roll in that instant? Oh, whatever. God. I honestly hate it at this point. This is just unnecessarily annoying. I have no idea what they did with the timings in this game, but it's honestly just bad. It's just outright bad. No idea what they did. It's much worse than in the other FromSoft games in terms of timing. No idea what they did there. It feels so incredibly inconsistent. Especially with the roll. Sometimes your character just rolls, even though it's been like 2 seconds or something till you last press the roll button. And you don't think that it's actually still coming out, but it is for some weird reason. Why did I pressed towards him? See? I completely messed up that dodge timing, still didn't hit me. I hate that animation. Why does it... I press circle. I press circle. Yeah, just kill me. See, now I press circle at the exact same time. It worked. Exact same time. Exact same timing. I pressed circle at the exact, and I swear, that could have only been maybe 1 frame apart from what I did earlier. Exact same timing. It was just that I did L2 earlier, which I suspect has something to do with that. So if you do, I don't know, like a combo roll, right? So you do an attack like L2 or whatever, and then you roll. In that case, you get either less iframes or the iframes are different. The animation of the roll, however, is exactly the same. And I think that's a problem. But the issue is you just can't really figure it out. Because it honestly seems like it's different from like, if I press my L2 and then roll, it seems like the roll has different iframes to when I heal and then roll. And that seems like it has different iframes to when I throw a fireball and then roll. And that has different iframes to when I roll and then roll. And that has different iframes to when I just roll. Every one of those things seems completely different in its timings, to the point, and not only slightly different, completely different. Right? To the point where you can literally press your roll button either half a second earlier or later, and it will have completely different effects. And I don't know why they did that, honestly. I mean, it has to be something like that. But I don't know, it feels bad when you're playing it. It honestly does, because it just feels like it's random. Or not really. It just feels like you can't really control what you're actually doing. Why didn't he follow that up? That was weird. Attack me, you dumb fuck. Oh, well that was on my end. Ooh. Ah, for fuck's sake. I hate that attack so much. What? I swear to God, this fucking game, I had him. I pressed square. My character even did some sort of weird animation there, but he just didn't heal. What the fuck was going on there? I don't know, is this just buggy? You'd expect you'd have heard about something if that was the case. But the button inputs feel, well, yeah, inconsistent. I don't know if it was, like, did I press square, like, too early? But why? Why didn't I heal? I pressed square. I definitely did. Man. He's really, I mean, it's not even, he is actually quite fun to fight. I like his timings are much less annoying than that of the other bosses that I've encountered so far. And I'm still not a big fan of these, like, 5-hit combos, because they're just boring, right? Once you recognize that they exist, they're very, very easy to dodge. So his whole, like, when I'm not doing anything else and he stomps his foot, he follows it up with like 3 or 4 attacks or whatever. And those are really, really easy to dodge. When you start on the correct timing, the follow-ups are incredibly easy to dodge. But they're boring, because nothing happens during that time, and it's way too long of a follow-up, right? The fight should continue in another way. It's completely breaking the pacing of the fight. So that's sort of bad. But his attacks in general, not only are they really cool, I really like the animations and stuff on a second phase. There's a lot to like that. It's just that I'm not actually fighting, right? It's always the struggle to actually get to the fun part of fighting. Because for the most part, you're fighting with the weird lag on inputs, or the weird random. Now I wonder if maybe it isn't actually that the dodge roll has different timings. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's just some weird input lag that is completely variable all the time. Because it honestly, like, there's something weird going on with the inputs, because I definitely pressed square. I definitely did. 100%. It's just that, well, I think I probably pressed it at some awkward time when the game, for whatever reason, doesn't accept button inputs. And the same is with this, like when I was sort of somehow changing my weapon to the crossbow. That was also incredibly weird. So yeah, this fight is way better than the other two Everjails, I would say. It's actually quite fun, but I feel like I'm only really fighting about 40 to 50% of the time, and the rest of the time is spent on wondering about awkward button inputs. And yeah, I know I said this before as well, but it does feel different to both Sekiro and Bloodborne. It feels a lot different to them, right? Sekiro and Bloodborne, I was able to really, really precisely and consistently do certain timings. I mean, obviously, I'm not saying that I'm the most skilled player at those games. Not at all, right? I mess up a lot, actually. But I always knew when I messed up, right? And I always knew when I did correct timings. And in this game, that just doesn't happen. And it's been a while, right? I've played this game now for a fairly long time. And it just, yeah, it's just still as inconsistent as it ever was. Why did that not hit me? Okay, fucking hell. I was so confused that attack didn't hit me that I completely messed up my thing against the next one. What was that? That was something that happened a lot, actually, against that fire, or not fire, the Frost Knight thing in the other Everjail on the Weeping Peninsula. That happened way more often against him. And now it happened here as well, and it's... I don't know. I wasn't even standing on... I think I was still standing on the grass, right? I wasn't standing on the sloped part. I was standing here somewhere, I think. Absolutely no idea why that didn't hit me. Absolutely no idea. Didn't really seem to make sense, to be honest. Also, why am I still... Let's just unequip this. It's unnecessary to cycle through. Yeah. I don't know, see, it's exactly things like this that are so weird, and that just don't happen in the other FromSoft games. Wait, no follow-up? Can you please fucking attack? Once again, I pressed circle, but I think... Why did he follow that up? I pressed circle. Oh, fuck's sake. But of course you actually do an animation for an item that is empty. Yeah, of course they had to include an animation for that, because that's funny as hell. Cool. Instead of, like a modern game that would maybe remove the item that is now used up from the usable items, just to make the jank of how bad the controls are in general a bit less janky. But I'm asking too much, I guess. Yeah, and the fact that he sometimes just doesn't follow up his attacks and all that kind of stuff, it makes a fight that is already boring in parts because it takes so long, even more annoying. Okay, sure. Exact timing as before, but of course, yeah. Yeah, sure. That hit me. I don't know. Was it because it was a weird angle? I tried to do the dodge in like a different direction this time, so maybe that's it. I did feel at some point like the direction that you're dodging in also plays a part for some weird reason, but sometimes it just, or most of the time it doesn't, but sometimes it does. It's, yeah. Maybe I should just not really wonder about that anymore. I hate that follow-up attack. That's so unnecessary. I hate it when I'm out of range for some awkward reason. Oh man. He's fucking... I think he has a variable timing on that attack, probably, but that fucking drag attack is just so bad. God, this fight is boring. That's the problem, right? It's not fun. It's just boring. It's just honestly boring because there's nothing like... Okay, so usually how fights in FromSoft games worked for me all the time, right? Is that they're well, mostly they can be very frustrating and challenging when you're still learning them, right? And the better you are at them and the more you learn a specific fight, the more fun it gets, right? So there's sort of frustration and challenge slowly turns into fun. And then it becomes this really, actually quite well sort of designed dance of having very, very fun moments sort of exchange into more challenging and frustrating moments when the fight goes on and you see more phases and different attacks coming out, right? That you still have to learn. But the problem is here in Elden Ring, that's sadly not how it works, because, as I said before, about, I would say at this point, maybe 30 to 40% are fun, where the fight actually works, your dodge timings work. You know, sometimes I still get hit, but that's then on my part, right? I need to heal, and the fight goes on. But, you know, to this, like, let's say 30% fun, then there's another, like, 30% that's just waiting. There's a whole bunch of waiting, right? Either it's him doing like a 5-part combo that you need to roll out of, so you can't really do anything until his attack is over, or it's just him holding up his shield doing absolutely nothing, right? That's another 30%. And then 40% of the fight are just straight up weird timings, things where your controls seemingly don't really work, or they don't take the proper button inputs, or something else, right? And yeah, so at the end of the day, it's only really about 30% fun. And that's clearly not how a game should be like. You know what? Maybe I should actually at some point watch other people do these fights and see how they deal with them. Why? I had the exact same dodge timing as before. Oh, I hate these stupid follow-up attacks. He sometimes does them and sometimes just not. Well, that was just lucky. Once again, inconsistent dodge timings. Once again, inconsistent. I dodged that the same way before at some point. It also doesn't help that the game is struggling to keep up frames in certain areas. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's just the performance and I'm thinking way too much about this. I don't know what it is. I honestly don't. Maybe I should level up Vigor a bit more. And then come back? I don't know. I hate it when I'm out of range. Wow! Did you see that? The attack just sort of on the way out. Oh, for fuck's sake, now it didn't pay attention. The attack on the way out just sort of awkwardly. Yeah, it's sort of awkwardly. Why? I don't get it. Earlier it didn't hit me. Sometimes I forget about the fire. That is such a bullshit attack. That is such a bullshit attack. Oh. Well, at least I know that now. Fuck. Oh. Ooh, that was a bullshit one. Ooh, aspects of the Crucible Tale. Okay, so... Well, the solution to the fight was, unfortunately, kind of... yeah. Unfortunately, the solution of the fight was pretty much one of my biggest criticisms, which is that, unfortunately, a lot of the really cool stuff is very, very hard to use, to the point where it's just not worth it. So as you saw, it's much, much easier to just chip away at his health, because there are quite a few openings where you can do that, right? So getting in like a sneaky hit here and there, and ultimately bringing down his health that way, is much easier to do than actually trying to use skills, for example, right? Even though my holy damage is a lot better than my normal one, finding an actual spot where you can use L2 without being hit is almost impossible in this fight. Like, it's specifically designed so that it's almost impossible to find a spot where you can do it. If you know how to do it, yes, you can find them. But unfortunately, yeah. And then I also think that for some reason, these kinds of things, like the skills or using items, those are what messes up your timings, right? As I said before, there is something weird going on. I don't know what it is, but there's something weird going on with the dodge timings when you use items or use certain skills or whatever, right? So all of that combined creates a situation where if you don't use anything special, if you just chip away at his health and just dodge his attacks, it's much easier to deal with, right? It just becomes easy at that point. It's still a very boring fight because it has large parts where, well, you just dodge, right? So it's literally dodge, 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 attack, dodge, 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 attack, dodge, 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 attack, something like that, right? It's a bit exaggerated, and at least, you know, he does different stuff, so his attacks are still really, really interesting. That's not the problematic part. What's your deal? His attacks are not the problematic part, right? They are actually quite cool. It's just that the way it works out in the end makes the fight boring. It honestly does, because, I mean, in a way, it's the same with Sekiro, where in Sekiro it's also just way easier to deal with fights in a normal manner, where you just use your dodges and your deflects and whatever, instead of actually using any of the skills that the game gives you, which is, that's, you know, it's very unfortunate that that's the case, but at least in Sekiro, the basic fighting is really fun. Here, it's not, because it amounts to dodging a whole lot and then pressing R1 occasionally. And also, it's just much slower than Sekiro, right? In Sekiro, you're, like, the whole dodges and all of that just is way, way quicker, whereas here, especially because a lot of enemies just have these very long wind-up animations, it ends up just being, yeah, well, somewhat boring. I don't know, it's... yeah, I kind of stand by what I said earlier. About 30% of this fight was incredibly enjoying. Like, was really, really good. And truly shines as how this combat should be. Unfortunately, the rest of the 70% of the fight are just sort of awkward and or boring. Right? It's either, you know, the rest of those, maybe it's not, yeah, I don't know. It's just very unfortunate. I don't know what they could have done to make this more interesting. I feel like, well, I mean, if so many skills have this long of a wind-up animation, right? And it's not just the skills, it's the magic as well. Like, throwing your fireballs takes a fairly long time. But those are ranged attacks, right? For ranged attacks, I feel like it's not that big of a deal, because when they hit, well, they still don't deal enough damage, but at least, you know, you have a lesser risk of being attacked by him because you're further away. But, yeah, the fact that this L2 takes as long as it does, it completely goes against the enemy design, which is unfortunate, because it just means that you're using less of what makes the game actually cool, right? I mean, these effects, these kinds of cool skills and stuff, that's what's very interesting about the game. But sadly, the enemies don't really allow that kind of fighting at all. Unless I'm missing something, there might be some sort of other way to make these combos work. So maybe it's faster, oh no, it's not, right? I don't know. Absolutely no idea. It's just really, really strange. Well, let's mark this as completed and just move on, I guess. Yeah. So Stormvale Castle is next. I still have, well, about 10 minutes. Do I want to maybe check out what's on the bridge? I mean, maybe we could deal with that before we go into Stormvale. See if I can actually buy some sorceries with the 2000 runes. But yeah, at the end of the day, there is, well, the most frustrating part is how enjoying the fighting can be if it,
Shall we commence the
like,
lesson?
well, if the fun parts was all there was to these fights, right? I wish enemies would be just faster in general. Remove these very long wind-ups on attacks, just make them faster, right? Make them different attacks, make them have, I don't know, 5 different attacks. They can have slightly different timings, but make them faster. And also I feel like dodge rolling is really kind of a remnant of Dark Souls. I felt like the dodging both in Sekiro and Bloodborne just work way, way better, where instead of rolling, I mean, obviously Bloodborne also has a roll, but it also has this really, really fast dodging when you target the enemy, right? And I feel like those things are actually much better than the rolling. Rolling is just kind of awkward. It's not really slow, but it's slower. I don't know. I'm really more of a fan of the like faster fighting, because this way there's just a whole bunch of boring to the fight. There's a whole bunch where it's just sort of waiting. Yeah, I don't know. It's really, really hard to tell. Enhances shield damage negation. Yeah, that's not really. Not really interested in the rest, to be honest. Is there something else that I want to buy? Because I feel like I need to spend my runes, because whatever's waiting for me on the bridge probably, well, might kill me. Let's just get a couple of these ashes then, I guess. Oh, also I should probably look at what I actually got from the enemy, right? Let's see. Wait. What? Oh. Oh, it's an incantation. Okay. I thought this was a skill. One of the ancient Earth Tree incantations. That's an Earth Tree incantation? It looked like something of dragons. Creates a supple tail that sweeps through foes before the caster. Charging enhances potency. This is a manifestation of the Earth Tree's primal vital energies, an aspect of the primordial crucible where all life was once blended together. That's what that means. So the primordial crucible. That's actually sort of a part of history then. Life was once blended together. Okay. So the primordial crucible then refers to something like what we have after the Big Bang, right? Where, well, there was just this really, really hot plasma in the universe and nothing else. That's what that's supposed to be, I guess. It's just very interesting to me that they specifically reference like something like that, because now that makes me kind of feel like this world isn't actually as old as we think it might be, or that there is, well, I mean, one single time something was mentioned about a cycle. So maybe this primordial crucible existed multiple times already, and it sort of returns to that state at some point and then goes back out, right? But I wonder how, like, what exactly is the timeline here, right? We have the primordial crucible at some point, then at some point we have those ancestral followers, and then at some point we have the golden age of the Earth Tree and whatever, and the Elden Lord, the first one. And then that sort of ended with the shattering. That's sort of a couple of big events we know, but they seem to be very, very far apart, don't they? Right? The primordial crucible seems like something that was, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of years ago, maybe, or even longer. Whereas the ancestral followers seems like maybe, I don't know, could be 10,000 years ago, something like that. Not even that, maybe like 2,000, 3,000 years ago. And then everything with the shattering and the first Elden Lord seems like, you know, maybe 100 years, 200, 300, something around that, right? But that's just assumptions based on real life timelines, right? That has nothing to do with anything that has been said in games so far. And unfortunately, well, the game itself hasn't really said anything to that point.
Hello. Here to learn a battle.
I am indeed. Do I actually know what I already have? I don't think I have the parry. So let's get that. Spinning slash. Wait, do I have quick step?
Well.
Shit. Whoopsie. Let me actually look at what I have. Not that I'm ever going to use it, but Stamp, Wild Strikes, Ground Slam, Unsheath, Repeating Thrust, Square Off, Storm Bomb, Storm Stomp, Determination. Okay.
Oh.
So I definitely don't have Quick Step. Also don't have that one.
Well.
Okay. Well, let's take a look at the bridge then. And maybe we'll see something that leads us to the tower. Maybe, potentially. Also, I'm fairly disappointed by Ambush Shard. Maybe it was because I was fighting that knight specifically, but I had honestly hoped that it would have done a bit more. Oh well. I mean, one of them is surely getting up. I feel like it's the one back left. Because that sort of looks more alive than the others. Well, maybe I might also be wrong on that. No idea. I do wonder what this bridge was like. Oh, well, see. Hello. That's what I thought would happen. Can I not, like... Oopsie. It's not just one that's getting up. Well... Oh, for fuck's sake. Really? Does it have to be one with the... Ooh. They can... Fucking hell. Seriously. Ooh. That's also much further than I thought it would be. Ah, well that's bullshit. Wait, the one behind them is actually hitting them, I think. Is he? I think he is, to be honest. Oh, of course I'm stuck on something. Are you kidding me? Yeah, he's actually hitting them. Well, that's kind of funny, isn't it? Ooh, that was lucky. Ah, for fuck's sake. Okay. Okay. See, it happened again. I was just pressing... See, this happened a couple of times in that fight, like 2 or 3 times in that fight against the knight as well. I only pressed down on the D-pad, but it also switched my right weapon. And I'm pretty sure that I didn't hit that myself. I would have noticed that. So there has to be something going on with... How do I get to him? There has to be something going on with the button inputs. I don't know if it's maybe the PS5 controller or something. Oh, well that was lucky. Oh, there's... really? There's a teleporter here? Okay. Okay, so that's them dealt with. Warming stone. Ooh, wait, those fires weren't on earlier, right? Also, why is the fucking mount blocked here? Seriously? I mean, maybe, well, if they didn't block it, it would probably be too easy to cross the bridge, right? Or you could just run by them or something. I don't know. Why do I have the feeling the teleporter is not going to transport us to, you know, just the White Tower, but somewhere entirely different? I mean, you could probably try and just run by them and activate the teleporter as well, right? It's kind of interesting. I expected more of the, like a boss fight up here with the giants, but, or with, like, one specific one, rather, instead of having 3 here. I mean, that's still kind of fun. I like them as enemies. I mean, they're not the most interesting thing ever, but they're not bad either. Of course there are items down there. Are you kidding me? Soft cotton, okay. Ash of War Scarab. So, the second one of those weird scarab head things. Also, that shield is lasting for a very long time, which is pretty awesome. Can I get back up? That would actually be kind of cool. Maybe you can. There's a whole bunch of rubble here that looks like you could potentially go back up. Just somewhat Awkward. Yeah, I think you can. Oh, that's cool. Okay. Let me see. So that's a headpiece, right? Yeah. Slightly reduces the FP cost of skills, but increases damage taken. Ooh. Well. I mean, it's not bad. Would depend on the amount, wouldn't it? Never mind. I was wrong. This actually transports you to where you want to go for a change. How? Is that a snake? Or a gecko? Or... Looks like the head of a snake, doesn't it? Okay. Okay. You think that thing's getting up as well? I don't know. What would be the point of running the opposite direction, though? Oh, wait, what? Small ones don't count. Apparently. So he is not getting up then. What are these eagles doing here, though? Huh. Weird. Only one side of the fire things are still burning, right, in this case? Oh, no, never mind. It's like two different ones. What's your deal? They're all sitting, you know, somewhat expectantly. I wonder why they made this whole teleporter thing like this. I mean, I guess they wanted to have like a broken up bridge. I just feel like it would have been, I don't know, cooler to have an actual working one. Yeah, it's hard to tell. I mean, the bridge in and of itself is pretty cool. I very much like it. And see, this is how these teleporters should work, like all the time. They can be utilized well, right? But they shouldn't just teleport you somewhere completely different. I mean, this one very, very clearly, although obviously in lore, I guess, these teleporters don't even really make any sense. I mean, why would they, unless maybe the bridge broke, but they still needed to get here, and so they utilized the teleporter. Maybe these teleporters are able to sort of, I don't know, be like a lens, right? They can sort of focus on Divine Tower of Limgrave, okay? Maybe they can focus on like a specific point, right? So, yeah, you can sort of make it work, but once again, I wish there was somebody who, at some point, whatever, completely unrelated to this, said, oh yeah, you can utilize teleporter magic, but it needs to be, I don't know, it needs a device that specifically focuses on some point or whatever. It's tightly blocked shut. Seriously? Okay. Huh. Well, I did not expect that. So I guess we have to somehow unlock these towers then? Interesting. Okay. Fair enough. Well, that does mean, though, that we've pretty much finished up this entire area, right? Now, the only thing that remains to be done, the only thing that remains to be done is Stormvale. Cool, cool, cool. I do like that. Kick Godric's ass. Find out what that weird throne room is all about. And then deal with a couple of the rest of the things that still reside within Stormvale. I like that. Very, very awesome. Also, this place gives us a great view of where we want to go next. Stormvale on the horizon. Oh shit, I should have healed. Whatever. With the very, like, broody, dark look here. All the sun's going down. I like it. Yeah. I mean, my sort of opinion about the game's combat remains. It's somewhat awkward at times. The game itself can be a lot of fun. It really, really is. There is still a lot to discover. I really like where my build is going as well, right? This whole holy, like the fact that I can activate that holy blade and it actually deals quite decent damage. All of that, pretty awesome. But the sort of awkward timings in the fights just destroy the pacing of the combat for me a lot of the times. And it's also, it is somewhat strange because while you're roaming the overworld, you really only encounter sort of two different types of enemies. Either you encounter these foot soldiers that are typically very easy to deal with. Sometimes there's like a bit of a stronger opponent there with those knights that have like double-handed swords and whatever. But for the most part, you know, you have like normal foot soldiers. And then there is these trolls and the giants. But they both, even though they're very different in height, the way you fight them is very similar, right? Where you sort of stand around their legs, just hit them and dodge roll at the correct time. So unfortunately, I feel like that the overworld isn't really giving you sort of enough to deal with in terms of that. Well, the weird thing is, I feel like it's not the enemy variety that's the problem. It's more the, well, their strength and how you deal with them is very, very similar, right? Enemy variety is absolutely fine, I feel like. It's just that the way you deal with them and their level is very, very similar for the most part. Now, it does get more interesting when you go into the sort of dungeons, but there's not that many of them. I mean, if I counted all of them in Limgrave and the Weeping Peninsula, it's maybe like 10, I think. Which that in and of itself isn't bad, because that means that they don't overuse some of the elements there. And they also have, all of them have a boss in them, right? So I guess this way it's easier to not have, you know, repeating boss designs or something. But yeah, I feel like, you know, combat can be quite fun, especially while you're roaming the overworld, but also in dungeons. It's not bad at all. It's just that there's a lot that sort of tries to break what makes combat so fun, right? A lot of the stronger enemies or bosses seem to be specifically designed so that you can't really utilize skills, or only in very select sort of locations, or with very select timings. And that's just not that fun. I mean, yeah. The Everjails are also not really convincing me to not use spirit summons or other summonings in the actual boss encounters, because, well, yeah, it's honestly just not that fun fighting a boss on your own, because it's just a whole bunch of dodge rolling. It's not really interesting combat that's going on for the most part. I mean, sometimes there is, right? Sometimes it's really, really fun, but for the most part, it's It's not that interesting. And yeah, the fact that a lot of enemies don't really let you get out those cool effects, like the Holy Blade and stuff. The fact that it's just way easier to deal with them without using those skills. Well, that's just disappointing, right? Because now the game's taking even more fun away from you, right? It's the main problem there. The game is just taking so much fun away, or at least it's trying to take fun away, and have a quote unquote challenge, right? And as you can see, it's not like once you sort of come to terms with what you can't really use or what is difficult to use, and you just focus on what's easy, well, suddenly the bosses are easy to defeat. But then they're also not really fun. And I feel like, so either you have to really, really struggle and force yourself to use certain skills or certain attacks or whatever, but then it becomes incredibly challenging and it becomes incredibly hard to find spots and openings to actually utilize those things. Or you make it very easy on yourself, but then the fight is also very boring. It's a bit of a bad trade-off there, to be honest, right? I wish that wasn't the case. And I'm fully aware that obviously, that's just my subjective experience here, right? Depending on your build, depending on the weapons that you use and other skills and whatever that I haven't even tried. I mean, there's clearly a lot of stuff that you can use in this game, right? So I can very well see that there's a whole bunch of other things that I just haven't tried yet that are way more fun than what I have tried, right? There's definitely a possibility there. So this is just from my current perspective, right? It's nothing sort of about the overall quality of the game. If you were to actually test the game, obviously you'd have to go through a whole bunch of different weapons, a whole bunch of different skills, preferably even against the same enemy, and really figure out and try, what works very well, very, very well, what maybe works together with the opponents better, or what kind of styles are just more fun in terms of how the game works. There's definitely a whole bunch of things that can be tried out there. But the fact that, well, something can take your fun away, I mean, there must be a lot of people who maybe decided to use similar things to what I'm using, right? And then to realize, oh wait, if I just, focus on the basics and don't use any of the actual fun stuff, then it's very easy to defeat the boss. And, that sort of realization, well, it really does come as a disappointment, doesn't it? Because that's not how games are supposed to work, right? They're supposed to give you cool stuff that is fun, and then you utilize it, and it's really fun, right? This game seemingly doesn't really do that. It's just taking your fun away. Maybe I got unlucky. Maybe it's just my build or whatever I use, or maybe there is truly something awkward with the timings. I don't really get it. It's still very much, it feels like, I mean, considering that on my kill attempt, my timings were much more consistent, I feel like it has to do something with whatever you use prior, right? So if I use the L2, for example, the skill, then my dodge roll becomes, well, not inconsistent, but just different, right? And you just don't really expect that, or it's very, very, because the animation seems to be the same, it's very hard to tell what actually changes, or how different you have to dodge if in that particular case, right? What's weird to me is that the game overall is still incredibly fun. I always want to know what happens next, right? I want to know where to go next, or what cool things I can expect there, right? There's a whole bunch of stuff that's still waiting for me, and yeah, I just really like that. I really like the exploration side of the game. I really like finding new items, new toys to play with, even though unfortunately, yeah, the game isn't really letting you play with them most of the time, at least from what I've experienced so far. But yeah, it's still incredibly fun, which is what is so weird to me, right? It's, how can it be this fun, but at the same time also not? It's a very strange combination. There's so much wrong with the game, I feel like. There's a whole bunch of balancing problems. NPC quests are kind of awkward and weird. A whole bunch of like logic errors where the world just, you know, works way too much like a game rather than an actual world with proper lore and proper world building. You know, there's a whole bunch that's lacking there. The whole weird grace leading you towards Stormvale Castle first. The weird differences in strength and HP pools with certain enemies. I mean, just remember the weird worm that we found in the grave at the beginning. I mean, I've been through all of Limgrave now, right? And that worm had way more HP, I think, than anything else, and it dropped 5 times the amount of runes, or even more, than the knight we just fought. Even though the knight was easier, right? So there's a whole bunch of stuff that it's just incredibly inconsistent in how the game is designed as well, where things just don't really line up properly, or they seemingly don't really make sense. And yeah, as I said, the lore and there's just the whole bunch of stuff that's not really logical, I feel like, and purposefully sort of left open without any explanation as to why that might be. And then also a whole bunch of stuff that is heavily underutilized, where they just don't use the potential at all. I mean, your maiden, for example, what's the deal with her, right? I've talked to her, 3 or 4 times throughout the entire game, right? 3 or 4 times in, 80 hours? Compare that to any other RPG, right? That's laughable. Like, honestly laughable. No idea why they do that. They could have had so much more dialogue with her. And the same thing goes for people in the Round Table Hold, right? What's the deal with them? I've talked to Fia once properly, right? One time she had this where you could whisper with her. And that's it. Since then, she's just sitting on her bed, waiting to hug me again, I guess. And that's it. Yeah. And everybody else in the Round Table Hold is also completely, I don't know, they don't even really care what you're doing here, right? Man, so much wasted potential, honestly. It's really kind of a shame. The game does so much good, and it does so much incredibly bad. I don't know how that works. Like, how do you design a game like this, where it does, 50% of the stuff is really almost a perfect 10 out of 10. And then the rest of the 50% is sort of a 2 out of 10. How does that work together? I mean, the end product is still a ton of fun, and it still works in a lot of ways. It works really well because it has so many really good parts, but it's only about half the game, right? And the other half is just, well, I don't really want to say bad because it's not straight up bad. It's just pretty much wasting almost all of its potential. And to me, that's sort of bad because I see the wasted potential and I wish it was different. Ah, man, I'm really struggling with this game, man. I want to like it a lot more than I currently do. And the weird part is I still want to continue playing. I really, really want to continue playing. I love playing this game for some reason. But if somebody came up to me and said, how good do you think Elden Ring is? I would say, currently maybe a 6 out of 10. Something like that. It's really, I mean, it's a cool thing for Souls fans, but for people new to the series, definitely not. Holy shit, definitely not. If you're new to FromSoft games, don't play this game. Honestly. Play, well, I don't know. Bloodborne, probably. Yeah. I feel like that's a much better start. And if you want, well, at least somewhat of a story and characters that you actually care about, play Sekiro. Yeah. And the world that you care about as well, right? Because the other worlds you just don't care about It's just, I don't really... It looks cool. The world of Elden Ring looks cool, but I don't really care about it. I don't have any attachments to any of these places. Not really, anyway. I mean, Stormvale I have an attachment to because it looks cool. The design is cool. The sort of the level structure is pretty well made. But, well, there really isn't anything beyond that, right? Whereas, I mean, think about any other RPG, right? There's so many more cool spots that you really have like an emotional attachment to, right? Oh well. I really hope it gets better from here on. I hope that the game actually does allow me to use my skills a bit more, that the skills become better, especially with scaling, and that it's more fun this way. And maybe, I feel like, very, very slowly, way too slowly, but very, very slowly, I feel like the information that we're getting from items is getting just a tiny bit more consistent, right? Where things that we read actually do connect to other things that we've already heard about, which for the longest time, I mean, I said that at some point, I think, for the longest time, we just found sort of random words and phrases, right? And nothing seemed to really connect. So it's honestly like a puzzle where you sort of, it's like a 1,000-piece puzzle where for a very long time, nothing's really built up. And then slowly but surely, sort of larger clumps of pieces form together, right? The only thing that remains to be seen is whether or not the final picture actually makes sense, right? Whether it's an actual picture or just a random assortment of noise. And the fact that you can't tell after more than 80 hours of gameplay, well, sadly shows the state of the story in this game, right? And the state of the storytelling and world building. Because there's almost none. Oh well. Still a lot of fun though, for some weird reason. Let's end on that. I don't know if I'm going to be back tomorrow. Maybe, also there's not going to be a Final Fantasy stream today. I'm still debating with myself what I'm going to do with them. I think for the time being, I'm just going to take them out of the schedule because streaming Final Fantasy without really having any kind of audio is just, it's not really what I want to do at this point. But yeah, I need to do a bunch of IRL stuff, so I'm not really sure if I'm going to be back tomorrow. I think I'm going to be back on Tuesday at the latest though, and continue our Elden Ring journey, hopefully with a bit more positive outlook. I mean, hopefully killing Godric actually does something, right? Maybe it honestly brings the story forward in a kind of more significant way, or in any way at all. Well, I still hope that you're having a great time, and I hope to see you back on the next one. Until then, have a great rest of your evening, day, morning, wherever you are. Hopefully I'll see you again. Until then, bye-bye.